Hi, I'm Katie Farner, Superstar Director for the Sunshine State Superstars. Today I've prepared for you 10 tips. Now these 10 tips are designed to help someone who is actively working towards promoting to the title of director, or even someone who is a young director and kind of just getting their sea legs in that new role. So, shocker, I actually have notes on my phone. I never have notes. But I actually posted this earlier in my Facebook page for my up and coming leaders. And I'm like, you know what? I need to make a YouTube video on this. So I've got my notes here. So when you are working towards director, it's really important to remember that when the time comes and you promote to director, it's not going to be just this instant change and you're like, oh, now I'm a director, I can sit back and do nothing. That's totally not how it works. Once you promote to director, you have to continue doing the things that got you to that title. Honestly, whether you're a director, a star director, or a superstar director, your work never ends. I still recruit just as hard as I always have. I still sell just as hard as I always have. My business, I still do the things today in my business that I did when I was trying to become a director and when I was a young director. So I want to preface this message with that. So the first tip that I've got for you is never stop personally recruiting. And it seems kind of self-explanatory, but the truth is you can't ever become stagnant in your frontline growth. Your frontline always has to be continuing to grow wide. You don't want to get stuck in a place where your team is very deep, meaning you have recruited 1 or 2 rock stars and they're producing the only growth in your team, in your group, within their teams. You want to always be growing wide. You want to always be personally recruiting. I personally have a goal of 100 frontline. I don't ever want to let my frontline drop below 100 people. And that might sound, whoa, like that's a lot. But based on what you want to achieve in your business, if you want director and star and superstar director, you have to have a wide frontline. The wider your frontline, the more opportunities to promote directors like yourself. So ask yourself, what am I doing to ensure that I'm maintaining a large frontline, that I'm consistently recruiting, consistently building that frontline? What am I doing? Am I doing the 50-10 every single month, sharing the business opportunity with at least 10 people, giving samples out to at least 50 people? Am I doing that every single month? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself these tough questions. You have to be willing to do that as a leader. Ask yourself, am I paying attention to the things people are saying to me? Or am I paying attention to posts that people are making on social media, looking for people to share the opportunity with? I call them opportunity goggles. And I say every single morning when you get up, you need to put your opportunity goggles on and be looking for people who need our opportunity. So really, as a leader, be open and willing to ask yourself those tough questions. Am I talking about the opportunity? Am I sharing it consistently? I guarantee if you are in a recruiting slump and you're not seeing anyone joining your frontline for months and months, that means you're not sharing the opportunity. Do you have dry months? Absolutely. Do you know this month I've recruited 0? I've gotten 5 reinstatements, but I've recruited 0 this month, January 2017. I just haven't recruited anybody. Doesn't mean I haven't been planting the seeds, doesn't mean I haven't been having the conversations. It just means that the timing hasn't been right for anyone so far this month. So my point is, absolutely there's going to be months where you don't recruit, but it shouldn't be your norm. Your norm should be recruiting, with the occasional month where you're not welcoming someone. Okay, so tip number 2. If you want to hit director and maintain director, in my experience, I found that people who have teams of about 80 and higher are the ones that I see maintaining director even during some of those slower months. So if you know that you need at least 80 people on your team to maintain director, look at where you're at now and ask yourself, okay, as a team, how many do we need to grow by each month in order to get to that place? And set a goal for yourself and your team. It's that simple. I know it might feel really far away. I mean, maybe you have a team, maybe you hit director like me with a team of 18, or maybe you're just getting started and you're a lead consultant with a team of 2 or 3. It does seem intimidating to hear the number 80. I get it. But I promise you, once you get in a rhythm and a groove and you have people that are sponsoring as well alongside of you, you're going to see your team will explode. I had someone join last year, last February, so it's almost been a year, and she's got well over 130 people in her team. So your growth, I mean, it can just happen. Like, you honestly never know. And that's why it's so important to always be focused on number one, always recruiting, always sharing that business opportunity, because you never know who your next rock star is going to be. You got to offer it to everybody. Okay, so remember, get your teams focused on recruiting so it's not just all on your shoulders to get to that 80 plus to be able to maintain director numbers. Tip number 3. Push each person in your front line to set their own individual goals. One thing in the Sunshine State Superstars that I focus really heavily on is goal setting. No matter what the goal is, no matter how high or how low, it needs to be important to you. I tell them, I don't care if you want a tank of gas every month and that makes you happy and that makes you fulfilled, great. Whether you want that or you want $5,000 a month, either one is just as important to me for you to achieve. And so that's something that I'm consistently saying to my team. And you guys want to be consistently saying to your teams as well. They need to set a goal. So you, as an up-and-coming leader, as a leader, you need to be willing to have those conversations. And I know sometimes it can be uncomfortable, and sometimes it can be a challenge to get people to be willing to open up to you and admit. But I tell them, hey, as your sponsor, this is my job. And if you don't, if you're not open with me, I really can't help you. You have to be real with me and tell me what you want. Just last night, I was talking with an up-and-coming leader in our team who told me, yes, I want to make X amount each month. That's my goal. That's what I need. And so I'm like, great, thank you for being open and real with me. This is how we can really create your plan and work towards that. So it's very important to get them to open up to you. Give them examples, if they're like having a hard time telling you what they want, give them some scenarios, is your car payment kind of a struggle for you? Would you like to pay your car payment every single month? Is one of your kids wanting to be involved in sports and you guys can't swing it? And that's a goal. Do you guys want annual passes to Disney? Because, a lot of us live here near Disney. Do you want passes to Disney? Give them some ideas. Get them thinking about what is going to give them butterflies in their belly, what is going to get them excited, and then show them. Because a lot of people don't see Scentsy as a legitimate business. Even though they joined, they said yes, they clicked the join button, they got their starter kit, maybe they had a launch party, and they think it's all fun and games, but they don't. I think the majority of people, when they're getting started, don't actually see this as a legitimate business income source. And that is for us as sponsors, as leaders, to show them, to make sure they understand. They see examples constantly in front of their face of people who are making this a real living. It's important for them, for that to be embedded and almost reprogram their mind, because I think most people really truly do not believe this could be serious, real, part-time or full-time income for them. So it's important to show them that. So a motivated team member who's driving and working towards a goal is very, very important. So you want to make sure now's the perfect time. It's the start of a new year. Get on the phone with every single person in your front line and have one of these conversations with them. Don't let it come across as like some intimidating thing, like, hey, let's get on the phone. I want a goal plan with you for 2017. For a casual seller, that's probably going to be very intimidating. Just say, hey, I want to reconnect with you, see how your holidays were and things like that. Come about it in a casual way, and then when you're on the phone with them, bring it up and say, I really want to focus on being there for my team this year and being a better leader. So in light of that, I want to know how I can better help you. So let's talk about what you want from your Scentsy business this year. It's the perfect segue. Okay, so number 4, always remember to reward and recognize what you want repeated. Now, when I say recognition, a lot of times people think money, but recognition doesn't always have to cost money. In fact, much of the recognition you can do is free. So this is the thing that's so cool about this. We're talking about all of these things. We're talking about never stop recruiting, the numbers you need to maintain director, pushing in people in your front line to set a goal. We're talking about rewarding and recognizing. So these are what I see, and there's more of course, but these are what I see as like the pillars of being a good leader and the pillars of building and maintaining director. Building to and maintaining director. But the way you go about each of these things, I think, can be so personalized. So as we're talking about recognition, how do you want to give recognition? Do you want to do snail mail? Do you want to email? Do you want to do Facebook shout outs? What do you want to do? Think about it. There's limitless ways that you can do recognition. So think about, how do you want to recognize? And don't forget, don't make the mistake of only recognizing results. You have to recognize behaviors as well. So like, something so fun that I love to do is if I'm scrolling my newsfeed and I see a team member of mine doing something like going live on Facebook or posting a really interesting business post, I'll screenshot it, post it in my team page and say, look at so-and-so, I love this post. What a great example of blah, blah, blah. So that's another way that we can reward and recognize. And we're talking about the behaviors. I'm not highlighting her results. I'm not highlighting, maybe she has 0 in PRV that month. That's okay. It's not always about the sales and it's not always about the recruiting. It's about the behaviors that are going to produce those results. So that was number 4. Number 5, never forget this is a marathon and not a sprint. Pretty self-explanatory, but I think it must be included in these top 10 tips. And that is because we, especially in this country, are way too instant gratification focused. We want it now, we want it as fast as possible, and we have to remember that when growing a direct sales business, it is absolutely not a sprint, it is a marathon. Which brings me to my next point. Number 6, don't compare yourself or your business to other people or other people's businesses. I think if anyone watching this video, if even myself was honest right now, we would raise our hands and say, yeah, I've done that. I've compared myself. I've compared my business. It's almost impossible not to do. But once we get in a habit of saying, you know what, I'm not going to allow this behavior to continue because it is detrimental to me and detrimental to my success. So creating this blocker in your brain to every time you think that way, shut it down and say, no, I'm not going to allow myself to think that way because it is going to be detrimental to your success. And the truth is, some people are just going to do it faster than you, period. I've seen it time and time again. I mean, I was a director for 5.5 years. There were people who promoted to superstar director in a year, to superstar director in 2 years. That was so discouraging to me to feel like, wow, I've been stuck at this title for 5 years and this girl joined 2 years ago and she's already passed me. So trust me, I get it. It can be really discouraging to see other people growing faster than you, but you have to remember, this is your path. This is your journey for a reason. And the truth is, you probably have a lesson you need to learn. I definitely had a lesson I needed to learn. And you know what? I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the time I spent at director. It makes me able now, looking back on it, to share what I learned and to share what I've been through and relate to people who are in that situation right now. And when you're on the other side of it, it doesn't even faze you anymore because you know what, that time was going to pass either way. So I want to encourage you, don't allow yourself to get into that trap because comparison, one of my favorite quotes, comparison is the thief of joy, period. Okay, so number 7, consistently share with your team how you're working your business. This is really simple, but I think, and Mel Robbins talked about this at Leadership this year. She talked about how it's like these little boxes, like these little steps. You go from this box to this box to this box to this box. But as a leader, it's been so long since we did those little box jumps that we forget. And sometimes we want them to go from here all the way to here. So it's super duper important that along the way, as we're working our business, things that are just natural to us, second nature to us, that we take the time to say, oh, you know what? I should probably go live in my team page right now and show them what I'm doing. Or you know what? I should probably share this story with them. Or you know what? I should probably take a picture of this and show them this cool business supply that I just ordered. Never forget to keep it simple and show them how simple it is to work your business and the little things that you do throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month that you're doing to work your business. Every single time I'm set up at a home party or a vendor event, I go live in my team page and I literally just film real quick the party or the event, because we're welcoming new people every day, every week, every month, and so those new people haven't seen an event set up before. Those new people haven't seen a home party set up before. So never forget that if your business is growing and your team is growing, you have a constant cycle of people at all different stages of the business, and they need you. Those brand new people need you just as much as the people who have been with you for a year or 2 years. So never forget to cater to all the people at the different stages of their business. Never skip over those little boxes, as Mel said. All right, number 8. So we got 3 more tips to go. Number 8, be the engine. This is one of my favorite things. I'm sure you've heard the story about that extra degree for boiling, but we've got to ensure that we are the engine of our business. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't want anyone to think they're going to promote to director or star director or superstar director and just like back and not work. You have to be the engine of your business. You have to be driving your team from the front. You can't be the caboose at the end of your rail cars, just letting your team drag you through the course of this business, right? You have to be leading from the front, because the truth of the matter is your team is going to do as you do. They're looking to you. That's why every single week on Wahoo Wednesdays, every single month in any kind of monthly stats, I always share my numbers. Even if I'm number 1 or number 30, I don't care. I always include my numbers because I want my team to see that I am consistently leading from the front, that I am not sitting back and riding on their coattails. That way, they see, oh, you know what? Like, Katie's working. Katie's doing this. Like, I can do this too. Like, and I'm between that and consistently showing them the little ways I'm working my business, they're clicking those two things together and they're saying, well, wow, Katie has $3,000 in sales this month. And, you know, I saw her setting up that event and I saw her setting up that party and I saw her driving to this or whatever. They're clicking those things and they're seeing that your efforts are going to be met with results. So ask yourself, if my team, say you have a team of 20, if the 20 people on my team were doing what I'm doing, would that make for a successful team or an unsuccessful team? If my team was literally doing exactly as I'm doing, would that be good or would that be bad? And that's going to tell you your answer right there as to whether or not you need to step up your game or if you're performing solid and you are the engine of your team. Number 9, be certain to set your own goals and be guided by them. Right over here, I have my vision board. I have my post-it notes for my goals. My goals are always based on Scentsy's calendar year, not the regular calendar year. So I have annual mentor, earned it. Annual sales, 2,100 something in PRV away. So I'm about to earn annual sales. Top 100, I'm number 31 right now in the top 100 and we have 7 days left. 10 frontline directors, I have 8. So that's 4 of my goals that I have up there, and 2 of them are met, and 2 are close. So my point, you've got to have goals, you've got to have milestones, things that you're focused on. And don't just have your big goal. Like say you're getting started, you're a lead consultant, you're a star consultant, and you want director. Don't just let director be the only thing on your vision board. You need like quarterly smaller mini goals to celebrate along the way. Because I'm telling you, if you're only focused on the big kahuna goal here at the end, you're gonna get discouraged, you're gonna get burnt out because you're gonna be so focused on that and you're not gonna celebrate any of the little successes along the way. At the mastermind event, one of the mastermind, I guess it's been like 3 years ago, one of the people that was training, shared with us, small wins equal the big deal, I think is how she worded it. Small wins equal the big deal. Yeah, I think that's how she worded it. But it was just stressing the importance of how small wins lead to big wins. Like, you have to celebrate the little things along the way and not get too caught up on the big things. So make sure that you have your own personal goals in place. What gives you butterflies? What gets you excited? One of the things that's also on my board is I want new countertops in my kitchen. So I literally have the exact price that every single thing is going to cost right there on my vision board. That is something that I'm working towards before the end of Scentsy's calendar year. So it's so important that you think about, what do I want in my life? What do I need? What does my family need? What is a priority to me? You can't ask your team to do that if you're not even doing it yourself. If we don't know what's guiding us, then we're just flopping along like a fish out of water. We have no path, we have no direction, and we must have direction in this business. Otherwise, when those tough days come, we're just gonna give up because we don't know what we're missing out on. We don't believe in what we're missing out on. We think, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I lay here on the couch today and do nothing because I'm not going to miss out on anything. So get rid of that fail-safe in your mind. It's that fail-safe of, well, I'm not going to set a goal because I don't want to disappoint myself. Well, you know what? You don't always win them all. There's plenty of goals that I've set for myself that I haven't achieved, but there's a whole heck of a lot that I have, and that feels good, even despite the ones that I've missed. Okay, so last but certainly not least, number 10, create systems and a schedule. So again, these are my 10 tips to help you build to the title of director and maintain director. I think these are the 10 most important tips. Creating systems and a schedule is so important. Now, there's so many different ways you can do this. Again, like each of these things, there's so many ways that you can tweak this to be personalized to you. Like my good friend Christina Stainbrook, she has binders and she has a system, certain days are for certain customers. That's wonderful, and that might be the perfect plan for you. It doesn't really work for me and the way I like to function. I'm just a to-do list kind of girl. I like to have my daily to-do list and then I prioritize it alphabetically, and that's how I function in my business. And that's just the way I like to do it. But I have to have that structure in place. I have my certain days where I know I've got more time to work my business, and those are the days where I really dig in and try to get a lot done. So it's very important to have a structure as much as possible. And some of you are probably working a couple jobs, if not a full-time job, and some of you have families, some of you have both. So I know it can be difficult. But again, it's to that vision board. What is more important? Is 30 extra minutes of sleep more important, or those new kitchen countertops you want? Is doing some work on your lunch hour more important than your daughter's all-star cheerleading? You know what I mean? It's really analyzing your priorities and saying, okay, I have to get a schedule in place in order to get where I want to go. So this was how I ran my business when I was working towards director. It was how I ran my business when I was trying to maintain director after I hit it with a team of only 18. And it is how I run my business still to this very day as a superstar director with almost 700 people in my group. It is, was, and always will be how I need to run my business and how I would encourage you to run your business as well. And I want to add as a side note, I know I didn't talk about parties or anything like that, but number 8, be the engine, that is what that means. Like, you've got to be doing parties. You've got to be selling the product. You've got to be leading from the front, doing all of those things. So I just want to add that in there too. But these are my 10 tips. I hope that they will help you as you work towards the title of director, or as you work on maintaining that title of director. And don't let anything today I've said scare you or intimidate you. I know I've talked about some big numbers and different things like that. And I know it can seem so overwhelming when you're just getting started, but I promise you, this natural cycle that you're going to get into of things like every month giving out 50 samples, 10 possibility packets, every month offering hostess flipping to all of your hostesses, these are things that are going to get you in a consistent pattern of partying, recruiting, and it just never ends. It's a cycle that never ends as long as you continue to do these things. Really, truly, 100%. It's honest to God truth. That's how I have been running my business for the last almost 7 years. It really does work, guys. So thanks for hanging out with me today and hearing me go through my 10 tips that I've got for y'all. I hope that they help you out. And as always, if you are not subscribed, please click subscribe. That way you're going to get an update every single time I make a new video. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.